Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is about stylistic devices. This program today is brought to you by Global English Academy, Bangalore. My name is Yusuf. Now let's see, what are stylistic devices? Stylistic devices, sometimes we happen to see them in literature, in writing. It's a figure of speech, and we also call it stylistic device or rhetorical device. It's the use of any variety of techniques to give an auxiliary. That means the secondary meaning to, meaning or idea or feeling, right? Sometimes a word, for example, distracts from its normal course of meaning, and a phrase, for example, has a specialized meaning which is not based on the literal meaning of the words in it. Examples you might have been familiar with: metaphor, for example, in simile or personification. These are different stylistic devices. Stylistic devices are used to give us emphasis, on a certain point in literature, and it also adds freshness of expression and clarity to our communication. There are different kinds of stylistic devices. Now let's discuss some of them. Number one is accumulation. Now see, what is accumulation? Accumulation is actually a Latin word. It's been taken from Latin language, and the meaning of it is piling up, like making a mass of something or making a heap of something. So when we have different arguments, in this sort of figure of speech, we have arguments which we have already stated, and then we present them again in a forceful manner. So in this way, we call it accumulation. The examples here, like scatter arguments are gathered and presented together to make the point compact and forceful. Now you can see the example here. He's the betrayer of his own self-respect, the waylayer of the self-respect of others, a covetous, intemperate, irascible, arrogant, disloyal to his parents, ungrateful to his friends, troublesome to his kin, insulting to his betters, disdainful of his equals and mates, cruel to his inferiors. In short, he is intolerable to everyone. This is the attribute to Cicero, Rhetorica. You can see here. The second one is, now you can see lots of arguments here in the first one, to prove that the person is not a good character, right? The second one is, a generation goes and a generation comes, yet the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, and rushes back again to the place from which it rises. The wind blows south, then returns to the north. Round and round goes the wind. On its rounds it circulates. All streams flow to the sea, yet the sea does not fill up. Ecclesiastes, the Old Testament. So now you can see lots of arguments are given, right? And they are given to give it a focal point, like the emphasis. Okay, now let's see to the next one. What is that? That's the adjunction, right? The adjunction is a figure of speech in which a word, phrase, or clause is placed at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. Now you can see here, it's a deviation from the normal sentence structure. You can see fades physical beauty with disease or age. And you can say this with disease or age, this is the end part, You can put this phrase at the end of the sentence. Or you can bring it to the beginning of the sentence here. With disease or age, physical beauty fades. Physical beauty fades. This physical beauty is your subject, and then that's your verb, right? But you put, before this a phrase, so that we call it the adjunction, right? And this sort of stylistic device will give emphasis, a poetic emphasis, all right? Give it like beauty to your sentence. Here in the next example, high the bird flew. You can say it normally. In a normal language, it would be the bird flew high. But if you put high in the beginning, this will give you a sort of a poetry kind of thing, all right? Okay, now another one is adnomination. Adnomination is another stylistic device, and the meaning of this is the repetition of words with change in letter or sound. For example, he is nobody from nowhere, and he knows nothing. So no, 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 right? But the words are different, okay? This gives you a music, for example, a sort of a music to your expression, right? News is what somebody somewhere wants to suppress. All the rest is advertising. Somewhere, somebody. Alliteration, okay? Alliteration is the repetition of initial sounds in neighboring words. It adds music, for example, again, okay? It's a sort of rhyming, okay? And this helps, making a sentence very poetic. Alliteration draws attention to the phrase and is often used for emphasis, also gives emphasis. The initial consonant sound is usually repeated in two neighboring words, although sometimes the repetition occurs also in words that are not neighbors, right? Okay, examples are sweet smell of success. Now you can see here S sounds. It gives this S sound. That means sweet smell of success. That means a sort of a music or emphasis. Dime a dozen, duh sound. You can see here, bigger and better. So b sound. Jump for joy, j sound. Yes, this we call it alliteration. Share a continent, but not a country. Continent, a country. That means k sounds. The consonants are the same here, and the sounds are, the consonant letters are the same, and the sounds are also the same. Here is an example of alliteration in a poem by Wordsworth. And sings solitary song. So S. That whistles in the wind. So W sounds here. Right? Okay. Only the repetition of the same sound is valid in an alliteration, not the consonants themselves. All right? We here focus on the sounds, not on the letters. For example, K sound is here and C sound is here. Letters are here, but the sounds are the same, so that means that creates music in a sentence. Okay, like here, philosophy, fan. So here, F sound and PH sound are the same. That is the example of an alliteration, all right? All right, although they start with different consonants, they constitute perfect instances of alliteration, all right? By contrast, if neighboring words start with the same consonant but have a different initial sound, the words are not alliterated, okay? This we should remember, right? Like acute child. Acute child. So CC. These are the same consonant letters, but the sounds are different, so they are not alliterated, okay? Now here, highly honored. So H sound is there, but the second H is not pronounced. So in this case, it will not create any music, all right? It will not create any emphasis. All right. Now let's go to the next one. Oh, the next one. That's the allusion. The act of alluding is to make indirect reference, okay? You give a sort of a reference. It's a literary device in a figure of speech that quickly stimulates different ideas and associations using only a couple of words, all right? Like allusion relies on the reader being able to understand the allusion, the reference, and being familiar with the meaning hidden behind the words, all right? Examples are, when describing someone as Romeo, that makes an allusion to the famous young lover in Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. In an allusion, the reference may be to a place, event, literary work, myth, or work of art, either directly or by implication. Okay, David was being such a Scrooge. Scrooge is the illusion, and it refers to Charles Dickens' novel. That means A Christmas Carol. Scrooge was very greedy and unkind, which David was being compared to, right? And the rest you can read for yourself here, all right? Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, there are some advantages of using illusion. Okay, and these different advantages are that you can use illusion. You don't need to explain or clarify a problem in a lengthy way. The other one is to make the reader become active in reflecting on the analogy used. Okay, all right. And the third one is you make your message very memorable. All right. Okay, so yeah. Now let's go to the next one. The next one is anaphora. Okay, it's a stylistic device that consists of repeating a sequence of words at the beginnings of neighboring clauses to give them emphasis. This rhetorical device is contrasted with epiphora, also called epistrophe, okay, which consists of repeating words at the end of clauses. Now let's see the examples. The examples for this anaphora, for example, some examples are here. Some examples of the literary works that use anaphora are listed below. For example, just focus on the word in time, in time, in time, in time. And then here, mad, mad, mad. All right? So in the beginning of a word, right, of a sentence, when you use this the same kind of words, right, again and again, that's the example of anaphora, right? Okay. Epistrophe, these words will come at the end of a sentence. All right? Now you can see here, in time, the savage bull sustains the yoke. In time, all haggard hawks will stoop to lower. In time, small wedges cleave the hardest oak. In time, the flint is pierced with softest shower. This has been taken from Thomas Kite, The Spanish Tragedy. And I hear from William Shakespeare, mad word, mad kings, mad composition. All right? So this was, some examples of this stylistic device, anaphora, right? Further examples are here. You can focus on the word what, in the beginning of the question here. For example, what the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp, dare its deadly terrors clasp? William Blake, The Tiger. Here, strike as I struck the foe, strike as I would have struck those tyrants. Some people pronounce it tyrants, okay? Tyrants, tyrants, cruel people. Strike deep as my curse, strike, and but once. Byron. The next one, here. It was the best of time, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. Incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. Being taken from Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. So these were some different kinds of examples for anaphora, right? Okay? Anaphora and different sort of stylistic devices we discussed. We will be doing some more for you in the next videos. For a time being, thank you very much for listening and watching this videotape. I hope this will help you in your learning further, right? Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.